Quite evidently, OnePlus is transforming right in front of our eyes, and I can't really fathom some of the decisions that the company has made in 2021 in India. For example, what does it need to launch a OnePlus 9R when a perfectly good OnePlus 8T already exists? And what's the need for this new OnePlus Nord CE 5G when the original Nord actually came and completely revitalized the 20 to 30K segment with its really cool hype? Now this OnePlus Nord CE or the Nord Consumer Edition, which I think is a smart naming scheme for a phone that is the most affordable OnePlus phone in India right now. Essentially what OnePlus is trying to do is lure customers who are looking for a phone in the 20 to 25K price bracket and try out a OnePlus phone for the very first time in their lives. Now, what matters is if this phone can give you the OnePlus experience. Well, that's what we're going to find out in my full review. My name is Arshad. You're watching My Smart Price. Let's get this video started. Alright, before we move on, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever My Smart Price English puts out an awesome new tech video, and we will take all the subscriptions because we want to hit 100K before the end of the year. The Nord CE largely follows the same industrial design of the original Nord, but with a few tweaks, some good, some bad. The more affordable Nord CE is an all-plastic phone, unlike the glass back plastic frame of the OnePlus Nord. Although I'm not really complaining because the quality of plastic used here is very tough. I couldn't feel a single creak anywhere in my testing. The whole phone was solidly put together. Plus, this blue void color actually looks very good. In fact, to add some distinction to the whole design, you can see there is a purple streak running along the edges. Plus, this matte plastic body keeps fingerprint smudges at bay. I haven't seen any scratches yet, but plastic is notorious for attracting micro abrasions, so you have to be careful of that. Anyway, the rear panel contours smoothly into the plastic frame, and it is an absolute treat to hold and use with one hand. Also, thanks to the use of plastic, the Nord CE is one of the lightest OnePlus phones I've held in recent times. It is just 7.9mm thick. The overall ergonomics of the phone is absolutely great. One of my biggest gripe with Nord CE's design is that it doesn't come with the alert slider. The alert slider symbolizes OnePlus smartphones. Now, I get it that the OnePlus Nord CE is actually targeted at first-time buyers of a OnePlus phone, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get a taste of OnePlus's iconic hardware feature. Anyway, the 3.5mm jack makes a welcome return, and you get Dirac HD tuning as well in the settings app. I tried it with a few wired earphones and the sound quality was pretty good. Now, for those who are wondering, it should be able to work with the lossless tier on Apple Music, which is supposed to come soon, and not really the high-res lossless tier. As for the rest of the design, you get a SIM tray that can accept 2 nano SIM cards, a USB Type-C port at the bottom along with a single speaker grill. Now this single speaker is the super linear kind, and it sounds really loud and it sounds crisp and full as well. In fact, if you cup your hand to the speaker, it actually sounds even fuller. Take a listen for yourself. So design wise, except for the missing alert slider, I like the design of the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. It feels very cohesive, for the lack of a better word. Now, the Mi 10i in comparison actually comes with a glass build, so feels more premium, but it is definitely heavier. And the iQOO Z3, which is another phone that I've taken into consideration, is actually not as premium feeling as the other two phones. Then there's the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, which I feel is a very premium phone. The Nord CE has a 6.43-inch fluid AMOLED display, which also includes a 90Hz refresh rate for smooth motion. Coupled with software optimization, the 90Hz smoothness of OnePlus phones is definitely a notch above even some 120Hz panels in this price range. This display can get bright, specifically upwards of 1000 nits in HDR mode and close to 700 nits with brightness slider pushed to max. Essentially, you can expect great visibility outdoors. Now, as for the scratch protection and drop protection, you actually get Dragon Trail glass and not Corning's Gorilla Glass solution, so there's some cost cutting happening there as well. And yes, the Nord CE, unlike many phones in this price range, can also play back Netflix videos in HDR. OnePlus just gets the basics right. The display also includes the in-display fingerprint scanner, which is fast and responsive. The haptic feedback, on the other hand, is not too great and feels super soft. Now, if you ask me, the display on the Nord CE 5G is as good as the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max's, if not better. And compared to the Mi 10i and the iQOO Z3 5G, this is definitely a better display for sure. The OnePlus Nord CE 5G has a 64 megapixel primary camera which uses an OmniVision sensor. Then you have an 8 megapixel ultra-wide, 2 megapixel mono and a 16 megapixel selfie shooter. Now, before I start with the camera comparison against the Mi 10i and the iQOO Z3 5G, let me tell you that the camera app on the OnePlus Nord CE 5G, at least the phone that I tested, requires a lot of work. The viewfinder was very unstable, processing post capturing the picture took a lot of time, and the gallery almost always converts it into a soft, bloomy version of the scene. And I had some trouble with autofocusing as well. Anyway, let's move on to the comparison shots. First things first, the Nord CE 5G captures extremely soft details compared to the 64 megapixel ISOCELL GW3 inside the iQOO Z3 5G and Samsung ISOCELL HM3 in the Mi 10i. Just take a look at the 100% crop of the road leading to the Center 1 building or even the buildings on the other side of the main road. The Nord CE's picture is super soft. As for the colors, while the Nord CE doesn't manipulate the original colors in the scene as much as the iQOO Z3 or the Mi 10i, the overall hazy look of the picture is an eyesore. Coupled with soft details, I'd much rather pick the Mi 10i or the iQOO Z3's oversaturated look over Nord's hazy mess. When it comes to dynamic range performance, the iQOO Z3 5G does a fantastic job of controlling the highlights and a fairly decent job of retrieving details from the shadows as well. The Mi 10i crushes the shadows a lot in the indoor shot. The OnePlus Nord CE creates a very flat, non-contrasty look by literally adding no dynamics at all in the shadow region. It just looks very, bland. All the three phones have a namesake ultra-wide angle camera, and the color science consistency is maintained best by the iQOO Z3, and it has a better distortion correction as well. Regardless, the other two are equally average looking, and for the most part, these 8 megapixel ultra-wide cameras are now surely showing their incompetence. When it comes to portraits, undoubtedly the Mi 10i is the champion here. Both the iQOO Z3 5G and the OnePlus Nord CE capture a very soft face. However, OnePlus's algorithm does a good job of semantic segmentation. In selfies, the iQOO Z3 does a fabulous job of the facial tones and the details too, but the highlight control in HDR mode is not great. Still, I'd easily pick the iQOO Z3 over the OnePlus Nord and the Mi 10i both. Although the Mi 10i does a fairly good job too with the facial tones and the HDR performance, so that would be my second pick. In selfie portraits, all the three phones do a fairly decent job, so no real favorites here, except the edge detection is best on the OnePlus Nord CE. Moving to low light shots, the Mi 10i has the best light sensitivity thanks to its large 108 megapixel camera. With night mode on, all the three cameras pick up the picture processing to add more light in the same scene, although the Mi 10i does look sharper. The second image of the scene indoors just adds to our theory that the Mi 10i is the best camera for low light shots among these three, with or without night mode. The second best is the iQOO Z3, followed by the Nord's really subpar OmniVision setup. The night mode does a fabulous job with the ultra-wide shot as well on the Mi 10i. Just take a look at the natural looking details at 100% crop of the fiddle fig plant right next to the TV. Yes, there's noise, but I'm okay with that if the algorithm doesn't create soft images like what you see on the iQOO Z3 and the OnePlus Nord. The low light selfie situation is a little weird. Both the Mi 10i and the iQOO Z3 offer the night mode option, but just look at the horrendous selfies captured by the two phones. Washed out, overexposed mess. But without night mode on, these two phones capture better selfies than the OnePlus Nord CE. The iQOO Z3 5G would be my pick though. The iQOO Z3 has the option to shoot 4K 60fps, but the other two top out at 4K 30fps. But the OnePlus, despite the terrible autofocus hunting issues, has the upper hand with the electronic image stabilization, natural colors and fantastic sound quality. The Mi 10i would be my second pick. The sound recording and the overtly saturated colors on the iQOO Z3 are a huge issue. 4K 30fps video on the OnePlus Nord CE 5G, and of course do let me know in the comment section below what you thought about the image quality, the sound quality, and of course the iQOO Z3 as well. The iQOO Z3 can also shoot. The front camera on OnePlus can shoot up to 60fps videos at 1080p resolution, but it is really soft. Plus the sound is extremely doctored. The OnePlus Nord CE 5G can actually shoot at 1080p 60fps. Footage quality doesn't look that great. I wouldn't touch this phone with a 10 pole for shooting videos. The Mi 10i is pretty decent in my opinion, with great sound, good colors and decent stabilization as well. The iQOO Z3 would be my second choice. The image stabilization and the sound recording as I pan around slightly and show you guys what it looks like. Yep. The iQOO Z3 5G is currently shooting at 1080p 30 FPS. Do let me know what you thought about the image quality, the image stabilization, and the sound recording. Basically, and I'm not going to mince any words out here, I am disappointed with the camera performance of the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. I feel that this is the biggest compromise that OnePlus has made on this phone. And if you're looking for a good camera phone option in under the 25,000 rupee price category, then of course the Mi 10i that we tested along with this is definitely better. And phones like the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, the Samsung Galaxy M42 and the Samsung Galaxy F62 are definitely better options compared to this one for sure. Now, the one reason why I will absolutely recommend the Nord CE 5G to anyone is the Oxygen OS experience. It is by far my favorite skin on top of stock Android. You get a plethora of cool customization options and a bunch of actually useful features such as work-life balance and quick launch. Moreover, I can't help but admire the attention to detail in UI design and animations. It is just a very polished and slick experience. Plus, there's literally no bloatware, unnecessary notifications from first-party apps or ads. Oh, also, I must tell you guys this. In my time with, the OnePlus Nord CE 5G, I didn't face any of that weird, delayed WhatsApp notification bug. It was actually a very good experience on this phone. The only minor gripe I have is that OnePlus doesn't let you bulk remove icons from the home screen. Otherwise, I genuinely feel that Oxygen OS is the cleanest, fastest and smoothest operating system experience that you can find under Rs 25,000 when compared to the likes of FunTouch, MIUI, ColorOS, Samsung's One UI and even stock Android for that matter. The OnePlus Nord CE 5G uses a Snapdragon 750G chip, which is not as powerful as the Snapdragon 765G inside the original Nord. What I can tell you, however, is the Nord CE is as fast as the Nord in daily usage. I faced absolutely no slowdowns in my time with the phone. But yes, this is not the phone to buy for gaming. I could play Call of Duty Mobile at high and max with very minimal heating in my 20-minute test. But as you can tell from our handy chart, the Poco X3 Pro is definitely better at gaming, and so is the iQOO Z3 5G with Snapdragon 768G processor. Now, to put things in context, the Snapdragon 750G inside the OnePlus Nord CE is actually the third most powerful chip in this price range. Now let's come to the perceived problem of the single band support N78 on the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. Now, it could be a problem if you care a lot about dynamic spectrum sharing, which is basically just a slightly faster version of 4G or 4G Plus, because those bands are definitely not supported by the OnePlus Nord. And if it matters if you travel a lot to countries like Japan and the US. Confused? Well, don't worry. We have a very handy 5G explainer, which I'll link in the description below. Please go ahead and read that. It's a separate video altogether. I shall make it someday for sure. Now, as for the N78 band, which is the mid band that most carriers are going to be deploying their 5G networks in India on, which is basically from the 3300 to 3800 megahertz frequency spectrum, that is supported on the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. Anyway, now this is something that you don't need to concern with or worry about too much at the moment, primarily because 5G is also not available in India and the other features are more important. Just don't buy into that 5G marketing hype yet. As for the 4G performance of the phone, considering 5G is not here in India, it was pretty damn good, absolutely stable and reliable, and you get support for carrier aggregation for what it is worth. One of the other improvements from the previous Nord is the Nord CE 5G has a larger 4500 mAh battery. This immediately results in fantastic battery life. I easily got over 8 hours of screen on time and a day and a half worth of usage from this phone. Now, as for charging, you get support for Warp Charge 30T, and I think there was something horribly wrong with the charger that shipped in my box, because it took me more than an hour and a half to actually charge this phone from 0 to 100, and that's completely odd. It shouldn't take that long, and it didn't happen once or twice, it actually happened multiple times. Now, I've reached to OnePlus to figure out what actually the problem could be. Once they get back with a response, I'll definitely add an addendum in the comment section below. Now, the OnePlus Nord CE 5G is yet another clear indicator that OnePlus's DNA is changing really fast, and we can start making peace with it or live in denial forever. As for the phone itself, I think that it doesn't need to exist, and the OnePlus Nord with Snapdragon 765 is still a perfectly good phone. I'm aware that the OnePlus Nord is currently not available easily, but I think OnePlus should have increased stocks of that and maybe added some discounts to make it even more exciting for more people to buy right now, because it's still a very good recommendation. As for me, I am actually waiting for the OnePlus Nord 2, as I'm sure that a lot of others would be as well. And if rumor mills are to be believed, then it's coming soon with the Dimensity 1200 system on chip and a better camera as well. So that's more exciting. Now, talking about the Nord CE 5G, the product, I feel that it is an above average phone that sort of is a very polished experience for first time buyers. So that's definitely the advantage that you get with it. But when compared to something like the Mi 10i definitely has a better camera experience, and it's also got a premium design as well, similar to the OnePlus Nord CE 5G, and of course it's got glass as well, and quite a few things it does get right. Having said that, the software experience is something that I actually prefer on the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. Now, in comparison, something like the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max is still my choice, primarily because it feels like a far well-rounded experience. It's also cheaper. You get a great camera experience. The display is absolutely gorgeous AMOLED with 120Hz refresh rate as well, and the design has been streamlined beautifully now by Xiaomi. Having said that, the software again is something that I prefer on OnePlus, and more importantly, the Snapdragon 732G for some performance nerds could be a bit of a letdown, but again, I don't think that it makes much of a difference. The 732G and the 750G are very similar in terms of performance. Now, as for the newly launched iQOO Z3 5G, it's got a far more powerful chipset in the form of the Snapdragon 768G. And there's also the Poco X3 Pro, which comes with a Snapdragon 860, which is possibly the best gaming phone that you can buy right now under Rs 25,000. But the whole cohesiveness bit again comes into question when you look at something like the OnePlus Nord, which definitely offers a better display compared to those phones. And the design is also far more comfortable to hold and use as well. And of course, the software experience is better than those two phones as well. So yeah, if you're in the market for a phone under Rs 25,000, then you must know that you have to figure out what you really use your phone for, because there is something out there for everyone and it is a really confusing mix out there. So if you want a recommendation for a phone under Rs 25,000, do mention your use case below and I'll try to help you out. And I hope you liked our review of the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. Do let me know what you think about it. Until next time, this is Eshar from My Smart Price signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.